podcast. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty significant, looking at those connections between childhood experiences and, well, how things turn out for us as adults.
That's right. We've been looking into research that strongly suggests a link between tough times early on and challenges like alcohol and substance use later in life.
Yeah, and it's not about pointing fingers, more about understanding these potential links.
Exactly. Understanding the dynamics.
Okay, so one really interesting piece was this study from Brisbane, Australia, a long-term one.
They followed, I think it was over 6,000 people born back in the early 80s.
Right, and tracked them basically from when they were babies right up to age 40.
A huge undertaking.
Right.
And within that group, they identified at least 600 people who'd experienced some form of maltreatment before they hit 15.
And that term maltreatment, they defined it quite broadly, didn't they?
They did. It wasn't just, say, physical or sexual abuse, which often comes to mind
So it
first.
included emotional abuse too,
Yeah.
and neglect.
Yes, exactly. Based on official reports to the Queensland Department of Families, Youth and Community Care. So documented cases.
Got it. And the findings. What was the link they found?
Well, this is where it gets quite stark. The individuals who had been maltreated as kids,
Yeah.
they were roughly 3 times more likely to be hospitalized as adults.
3 times. Wow. For anything specific?
Yes, specifically for alcohol and substance use disorders. The numbers were, let me see, 2.86 times higher for alcohol use disorder hospitalizations
Okay.
and 3.34 times higher for substance use disorder by age 40.
That's a really strong correlation. Now, you mentioned other studies often focus on physical or sexual abuse. What was different here?
Well, this study really shone a light on the impact of emotional abuse and neglect specifically.
It found similar strong links.
Absolutely. Found they were also strongly associated with that increased risk for alcohol and substance issues later on. It wasn't just the more, perhaps, recognized forms of abuse.
So the implication seems pretty clear then.
It does. The researchers basically suggest that, if we can improve how children are treated, how they're supported.
We might actually prevent a lot of this later suffering.
Potentially, yes. Prevent many adults from developing these quite serious alcohol and substance use disorders down the line. It really highlights the power of early intervention.
It just underscores the lasting shadow early experiences can cast, doesn't it?
Definitely. It offers a really valuable perspective on all the factors influencing adult health. It's complex.
And it makes you realize we need to consider that whole spectrum of childhood adversity, including the emotional side, the neglect, when thinking about long-term outcomes.
Precisely. It broadens the picture significantly.
Really powerful findings to consider. We'll definitely be exploring more topics like this. Stay tuned for more such intriguing stories to come on the WION podcast.